Before I say anything, I just want to start off with this. Don't panic, Gamecock Nation. Yes, there are things to panic about, but this isn't the worst place the Cocks could be. Besides the opener, these last two losses were basically inevitable. Arkansas is a top 10 football team, and Georgia could probably go up against the Atlanta Falcons right now and win outright. Nothing about those results has been the least bit surprising, but because of what's happened in those past two games, specifically against Georgia, we might see some changes and some movement in the USC depth chart going forward. I'm Kevin Renfield from the Dropout Sports. Make sure to like this video and sub to the channel, and let's get right into it. So instead of starting off with the good like I usually do, I think it's fair to begin with what hasn't been working. The defense, even against Georgia State, has been shaky. Through 3 games, the Gamecocks have allowed over 234 rushing yards per game. And this last game against Georgia really exposed some of their weaknesses in the past game. The upfront pressure just hasn't been there, and with 5 defensive starters out against Georgia, those problems left the box and spread across the field. On the offensive side, I'm not sure really where to begin. I guess opposite a weak run defense, the Gamecocks also don't have the strongest run offense themselves. They've only ran for 70 yards per game, and I know, they're running a more pass-heavy offense, but with 2 talented running backs in Marshawn Lloyd and Juju McDowell back there, I don't see why the O-line can't do those boys justice, or at least Beamer doesn't give them more carries. And transitioning into the pass game, yes, they get big yardage in big chunks of plays. And yes, that's what kept them in that Arkansas game. But the turnovers, man, the turnovers. 6 interceptions, including 3 against Georgia, and they're averaging just about 3 turnovers a game. I don't care if it's not all coming from the quarterback position, the team having trouble controlling the ball is not a good sign, just straight up. And speaking of the quarterback position, Spencer Rattler hasn't been the Spencer Rattler we, or at least I, thought he was going to be. So far, he's got 2 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and when the pressure gets to him, he hasn't been able to create. I know it's Georgia, and Georgia is the team in the FBS, but when they were getting to him, he wasn't really able to get out of the pocket and use his legs. He was just more so being safe, throwing it out, or when he did try to throw it deep, it wouldn't result in anything good. Add on top of that Luke Doty coming in at the end of the game and showing some positive plays. Rattler might yet again be in for a tough quarterback position battle. Lastly, before I move into the good, I want to reiterate, a lot of the bad that's happening comes down to the offensive line. When push comes to shove, they're not pushing or shoving. Without the push up front or the pocket necessary for QB1 to cook, nothing can happen on offense, plain and simple. And yet through all the smudge and splatter, there's still light coming through the window. With Luke Doty actually scoring a touchdown against Georgia, which I've got to say is a much bigger deal than it might seem, Spencer's got some competition, and at the end of the day, competition breeds more competitive play on Saturdays. If I'm a Gamecock fan, I want Rattler to feel the pressure. If he comes out of a potential quarterback competition on top, then we'll see a better result on the field from him. If he caves to the pressure, then Luke Doty can come back from his unfortunately prematurely ended 2021 season and get his chance to prove his worth. Fortunately for Rattler, Beamer, and everyone else in that South Carolina program, they have a couple games ahead of them that should serve as tune-ups. After a 2-game gauntlet, the Cocks have Conference USA basement dweller Charlotte and FCS opponent South Carolina State before they get right back into SEC play against Kentucky. That game will be a big tell for how the rest of the season will go, but for now, Gamecocks players, coaches, and fans should just be focused on these next 2 games. The future can wait. For now, it's all about regrouping after a tough stretch, getting those previously injured players back, and maybe tinkering those schemes a little. I know I'm just an armchair fan who doesn't have any say in how South Carolina will do, but if I'm Coach Beamer, I'm reevaluating my offense and maybe adding some more jet sweep and option type plays, kind of like what they saw against Georgia. And on defense, I don't know, maybe send some more 5+ man rushes. Like, I'm not the biggest guy when it comes to defense, so just take it for what you will. Anyways, everything is fine. The offense will work itself out. The defense will get their guys back, and going into Kentucky with presumably 2 wins in a row should give these Gamecocks the necessary fire to maybe take that one. Everyone has been tested, the results are in, and now Beamer and company know those results and will be able to address them head on. Thank y'all for watching.
Just a bunch of dropouts.